Today we're going to replace a Woodford outside hose faucet. We want to remove the screws from the brick. Piping's loose, as you can see. This hose bib is defective because somebody left a hose on it over the winter. Froze and burst, put a split in the side of it. Probably about 2 to 3 inches in. Not having any silicone in that hole doesn't help matters much either, but we'll take care of that when we're done. So we're going to go inside and cut it loose, get the new one in. This leak in this ceiling, it did all kinds of damage in this house. It's only been 3 days since it happened, and the mold is so strong down here in this area right now that it forced me to put on a respiratory mask, because within a few seconds of being down here I couldn't breathe. So I'm glad I had one of these on the truck. Here's our water line that we're going to cut loose, get a new piece in. Always remember that when you're connecting the copper, you do not need these stiffeners. Carefully extract it. You can do on both sides. I need to use that when you're using PEX. Came outside here to get some fresh air. Here is the hose bib we just took out. There's the split, it's usually a few inches inwards. That's what was causing all the leaking. The hose bib will handle a little bit longer. We're just going to basically match these two up, solder in a new piece. It's also anti-siphon. That's why there's a difference between these two, which is code in the state of Kentucky, probably code in numerous other states as well, that anti-siphon feature. But as a rule, there's a little poppet inside there that keeps anything that's connected by hose to this faucet from reversing back into the potable water supply. So both of these flanges in line with each other. Mark straight across from point A to point B. Knowing the socket of this fitting right here is right beyond those markings. Mark this straight across. And I'll give you your dimension, overall length dimension. As you see, we cut a new piece of pipe. This is the other one for the measurement. We cut this one just a little bit shorter because we're going to install a shark bite to reconnect to the potable water supply. It's in an area where the danger of using a torch at this point is a little bit risque. But we're going to take this new piece, solder it into here, and then we're going to push this new one into the wall, make a quick connect to that shark bite, and then anchor this by the 2 screws that hold this into the wall. Always remember to sand your pipe. Also use a device that reams, called a reamer. Get that prepared for solder. We'll also be using flux to take care of this, to make that connection into that hose bib. Always remember to turn your turn brush one way, clockwise, and before you solder, always open the valve up. As you see, it's already open. Now we're going to use some flux. No corrode. So a very small amount on the pipe. And a very, very small amount on the socket itself. Wipe off any excess. Now we're ready to solder. We're now going to solder up the end of this outside hose faucet using lead-free solder, a acetylene torch. Here we go. Now it's a matter of letting it cool down. A well-prepared solder joint capillary action takes over, and we'll make sure that solder gets all the way around, joining the two pieces of pipe together. I'm a firm believer that nothing beats a good solder joint. Now we're going to take this outside faucet and go ahead and put it back through the wall, connect it to the shark pipe. What we'll do now is carefully thread this back in. Just be gentle with it. Get it to where you feel like it hits the connection. We need to go inside and get it aligned before we push. Seems like the further you go into this basement, the stronger the smell gets as we get to this corner. As you see, there's our pipe. Now we need to get pushed into that shark bite. It's kind of nice to have two people instead of one. You can't have it all though. We're going to get that shark bite installed and we'll get the water turned back on. Always make sure if there's dirt on the end of it, just clean it before you go ahead and connect it to the shark bite. Now that we got the copper pipe started, now we're going to push in from the outside and anchor it to the wall, and that will complete our connection to the existing water line. The shark bite for this outside faucet isn't a bad idea, because years from now, if this happens again, the customer, property owner can take care of this repair themselves and use a removal clip on this and pull the whole assembly back out and do the same thing that I just did as far as jigging it up and putting the new one back in. As you see, there's a considerable gap out here against the wall. That's for the rest of the travel of the pipe that goes into the shark bite. And we'll push this in. Hook our screws to it. Go ahead and check the connection inside. Now that we've got the connections put back together, we're going to turn the water back on slowly. Check for leaks. as always, we're going to use clear silicone, seal up the hole around the little trim plate, that way air infiltration can't get in there and cause this to happen again. If by chance it happens to freeze because of the cool air coming through there, the freezing air. But I believe having it hooked to a hose is what really caused the failure here.